took a moment from the documents that I'm working on, multiple documents at the same darn time, to respond to a comment that came as a result of my anti-aging hacks, ways you can look more youthful video. And I actually plan to do a follow-up with that and provide 7 more tips that I think are more tangible or easier to apply than some of the ramblings that I had in that video, as well as showing you my sundress collection. But I digress. This person said, hey, I saw your tech writing video and wanted to reach out for advice here in Durham, North Carolina. I grew up in South Carolina and I actually went to Clemson. So I have an affinity for the South. Don't want to live there, it's too hot, but I definitely have an affinity. And I didn't even look for any jobs in that area when I was graduating college because I was trying to get my MRS degree, and I chased after the husband that I'm getting ready to celebrate 33 years of marriage to next month. But anyway, I decided to become a technical writer after spending over 20 years in the IT profession or arena. And after I hit about 50, I realized that the only aspect of IT that I actually like is writing, which would be technical writing. And it's funny that Teresa Nishimoto from PricewaterhouseCoopers back in the early 90s, she asked me, what do you like to do? I said, I like to write and I like to talk. And so she said, do you want to write this methodology document? And that was like how I first started to write in the technical arena. So as people are asking me now, well, how can I become a technical writer? Like I said, as soon as I hit about 50 or so, I said, I don't want to do that other stuff. And I reinvented myself because the industry has changed. And now there are technical writers. Back in the 80s, when I was first going into the industry, the systems analyst was the big thing. Or then in the 90s or later 90s, the business analyst became a big thing. Either you were a coder, you were a tester, you were a DBA. All of those things I had no interest in. In fact, I used to cry at the subway station with the coding that I had to do, Natural Database, back in early 1990 something or another. And so I just knew it wasn't for me, but I did what I needed to do to make money. And a lot of times I did testing. And then someone gave me a chance to be a BA back with MCI in like the early 1990s. And so I took it because I was coming back into the industry after having my sons. And so I guess I tell you that because when people ask me now, what do I need to do to become a technical writer? Because it is a really cushy gig if you can get it, especially where you're working from home, where I'm sitting here in my kitchen and, instead of going out for lunch or whatever, I can take a break and make a video when I want to. It's wonderful. I don't have to commute. Like my last job before I took this job, I had to drive to the bus stop, ride the bus, ride the train, and walk to the office. And so that was a horrible experience for me. I was really tired of it. And then also I had been out of the game for a while, and I hadn't been able to do technical writing full time for a hot minute. And so in order to get back into the industry, I took a job as a technical editor, thinking, how difficult could being a technical editor be? Turns out someone turned it into this bureaucratic nonsense that I hated, but it wound up being the furnace that I needed to be in to learn all of the skills I needed for SharePoint, to brush up my Microsoft Office skills, and to allow me to come and shine in this environment as a technical writer, a senior technical writer, that is. So the reason I share those little tidbits is because a lot of times you won't wind up with the job that you want initially, and sometimes I think a degree, an IT degree, is a good start. Whether you can be in computer science, computer information system, or maybe they might even have technical writing degrees right now. I haven't found the whole certification route, the technical writer certification. I haven't found that to be useful so far. The people that I work with, they don't care. They're like, do you have skills with Office? Have you used Visio? have you used SharePoint? Can you like do things in teams that we need done or whatever? Can you like roll with the punches in a fast-paced environment? And praise the Lord, I can, but those things came from working jobs that I didn't really enjoy at first. So I think the biggest advice that I can get is whatever way possible, get yourself into an IT environment where you can absorb the experience of. And one time I thought my boss was being facetious. He says, well, since you have all this experience, looking at documents, and I was like, is he serious or is he joking? And then I realized he's serious, because looking at my resume, when I was a BA, when I was a manager and I led design reviews with people who were a lot more talented than I was, but just the fact that I can take initiative, my laughing and joking nature that you're seeing here, it works well in corporate America. Like if you're leading a design review, the fact that you can laugh and joke with people, you can keep things moving, the fact that I'm proactive, being in those environments, it allowed me to do a lot of things that, my ideal technical writing position might not need or might not allow me to do, but it just added to the experience. And it's true, I have looked at functional requirements documents, business requirements documents, scope documents. I've done a hodgepodge of things that kind of lent themselves to me being a technical writer. And so even if you don't have, if you look at your resume and it's not the perfect mix of it, you pull out what you can and start reinventing yourself on LinkedIn. That's the place where this young woman, she's in her 30s, she was telling me about, her technical writing acumen or whatever, and listing her things, her experience there, and telling me that I needed to do the same thing. So I listened to her and I repackaged and repurposed my skill set, pulling from the jobs where I was a systems analyst, a business analyst, where I was a software engineer, where I was a manager of a design team, and I just pulled all of those things and started listing that experience, and taking some part-time opportunities, taking some freelance opportunities, even if that's the only way you can get something where you can call yourself a technical writer. You're going to have to be resourceful. And so I encourage you to go out to LinkedIn and take a look at some of the positions that are being advertised for technical writing, and then find ways that you can, mold and shape what you have to be presented for that. And then as you're trying to get into the industry, even if someone says, oh, it's a 3-month assignment, it's a 6-month assignment, as much as your budget will allow, because I know everybody has bills, as much as that will allow, try to take those things. Because one time my husband, he said, did you know that project was only 3 months? And I was like, I did, but it allowed me to get in with a big name company like Sprint. Even though it's T-Mobile now, I had a boatload of experience from working as a business analyst at Sprint. And one time they brought me on as a short-term business analyst, because the business analyst they had was out on maternity leave. And so I wound up taking that project, and I did so well because they were trying to fit in with these corporate templates that they had, where documents that system administrators were writing. System administrators don't want to write any documents, so needless to say, those documents were horrible. So they brought me in, and I put them in the right template in order for them to receive a high score, as they were graded by this governance committee or whatever it was called. And so, because I love templates, and that's another thing. If you're going to be a technical writer, most big companies, they have templates or ways that they want to see things. It's not the wild, wild west. You're not just going to come in and say, well, I think, this technical operating manual should look like this. as a courtesy, I say, is there a format or template that you guys are following? And typically they are. So be moldable and bendable, and don't go in, because most people don't care, that you've had 25 years writing, like say in this government agency. You need to ask them and defer to how they prefer to see things, and then start working within that space, and that'll give you a lot of really good experience. And the thing of it is, every technical writing shop is different. So just because you might have had a great experience somewhere else doesn't mean it's going to be great at another place. And so don't be afraid to walk away if things don't work well. One of the most horrible technical writing experiences that I had was on a project with Sprint. I said, I've been there before, I can go back. Oh my goodness, this woman was horrible. She didn't want to give me examples, and they have examples on the SharePoint sites, the intranet that's within a company. A lot of times it helps you to see how things have been delivered before, especially if you've been working with executives. And I had never really worked with executives, and so my whole PowerPoint skills, I will never say that I'm an expert in PowerPoint. And in the average environment, you don't have to be an expert. So don't be scared by that. That might mean that you need to look somewhere else, but always be transparent and open about what your experiences are, what your limitations are. If someone says, have you ever worked with executives delivering PowerPoints where you can just create them from scratch? If that's not you, time out. No, that's not me. But this person didn't give that opportunity. She just said, if you're a technical writer, you should be able to do that. That's not true. Every technical writer is not able to do everything. Some technical writers may not know how to do Visio diagrams because they might have worked in a shop where there's a graphic designer where they might do all of the diagrams. I've had that before. So don't let any bad experience control you. I gave them 2 weeks notice and I left because that horrible person, and she really was horrible in the sense that she would tell people not to give me an example document, because I said I've never written an architectural requirements document. So that's something different from a functional requirements document or business requirements document. I've never really worked with architecture and the infrastructure for a system, so to see an example would have made it easy. That's not someone doing your job for you, that's just giving you an idea of what it looks like. But she didn't want to do that. And then also when I would say, well, for this PowerPoint presentation that you want to present to the executives, do you have any insight as to what it needs to contain? The only thing she would say is, my favorite colors, I like to see orange, and I like pink. And I'm like, really, lady? There needs to be more information. Is there a particular style or, purpose or the way that you want to show it? And she was just like, Mom, until you delivered something. Then she had all the input in the world. And she said, well, what our other technical writer used to do, she would present us with 3 choices and we could choose. And I'm like, that's great. And I wish that she were here, but I'm here and I need an example if you can do it. And so she told me I needed to step up my game. And after, getting all of this resistance and really hating the experience, I finally left. And so it took a while for me to find another project where my skill set would fit. And I was really embarrassed and hurt, but I just couldn't work under those conditions. And it wasn't conducive to, to my health either, because my stomach started to hurt from just the pressure. And she was doing it intentionally. How hard would it have been to say, well, here's one of the architectural review documents that we delivered in the past. Here's one of the PowerPoints that we delivered to this VP before. How about you take a look at that to get some ideas? She didn't want to do that, so I left. And then another really bad experience with that technical editing job, the people were very difficult. And one person actually tried to set me up to fail by asking me to lead a training session that she normally did. She said she had a migraine, and she told me that morning about an hour before it was supposed to start. But she didn't realize that I loved to talk. talk. And so I did that thing so well that people started telling my boss how good I was at the session, and they let me do that all the time, for a long period of time before things wound up changing. And then the lady that was causing me major headaches at certain times, she asked me, how did you go from not doing well to being the queen of everything? Because I really got a lot of acclaim for that. And then I just told her, I said, well, I asked the Lord to help me. And the Lord did help me. And now all of a sudden my resume has training on it. And, I have people that could give me references from me running training sessions. So the lessons that I learned in that one environment as a technical editor, I don't want to be a technical editor. I wanted to be a technical writer. But because I had edited people's documents that were on my team, when I led a design team, I could say, oh yeah, I have technical editing skills. So what you need to do is look in your bag of tricks, see what you can use, maybe write down a list of items that you can list as being skills that would lend themselves to you being a technical writer. And then, build up your repertoire. And then maybe you can look on LinkedIn and see if there's some things that you can fit into. And maybe take a technical editing job that will allow you to do a little writing. And then you can all of a sudden say, okay, yes, I'm a technical writer too. Technical writer / technical editor. And so doing different things in an IT environment opens the doors sometime to something else. Like if I wanted to be a trainer, sometimes people send me emails or ping me on LinkedIn about training or being a technical editor. But now I'm just I prefer to be a technical writer. But doing those things allowed me to do this thing. So look at what you have to offer before you go back to school. And if you go back to school, make sure that some of the jobs that you're looking for mention that particular degree. Don't just get a degree to get a degree. Don't ever get certifications just to get certifications. LinkedIn is your friend. Get on there. Have a picture too. It helps people to know that you're not some weird person trying to hide something. And then just mimic some of the profiles that you see, and explain or mention some of the things that other people are talking about. Like say maybe you have a public trust, or definitely if you have a top secret clearance, that might make someone take a chance on you that ordinarily might not. And like I said, don't worry if it's a 2-month, 3-month project. If you can afford it, take it and just start building up the necessary tools to get you into the technical writing position that you want to be in. And also, just because you have a bad experience doesn't mean your next 2 or 3 experiences won't wind up being the perfect experience, because sometimes you have to kiss a lot of frogs to get to the one that you like. Because I actually love this one, and I actually like this boss, and we have a good synergy, and we work well together, unlike my last 2 or 3 experiences before I wound up working with him. So, get ready, put your dukes up, and don't just give up so quickly. And even if one is bad, try another one, this is a great industry to be in, but you might not find your Prince Charming or your Princess Charming on the first frog that you kiss. So to use a parallel. But anyway, I got to get back to my document, and hopefully that helps answer the question. If not, feel free to let me know. But technical writing is a great industry to be in. I love it, and hopefully you will too. Let me know if I can do anything else. But until the next time, have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.